call this meeting to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Bennick?
Here.
Commissioner Chapman?
Here.
Commissioner Hallen? Commissioner Hoyler?
Here.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Vice Chair Summers?
Here.
Chair Blair?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a current events report, please?
Madam Chair, members of the Planning and Zoning Commission, I have no report this evening.
Thank you. No staff reports?
We have nothing else.
Okay.
Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to open to the call to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on an item that is not on the agenda tonight? Seeing none, I close that. And we're going to move on to number 1, the oath of office. Sherry.
We have 3 members to swear in. Mr. Summers, Mr. Hoyler, Mr. Smith, if you wouldn't mind coming down here. Either side's fine. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the state of Arizona. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies whatsoever, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the position of Planning and Zoning Commission member. And hereby attest to abide by all official ordinances, policies, and procedures of the City of Surprise, according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have to read that new sentence.
I guess.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It always is.
I felt like induction into the Army.
Thank you, Commissioners. At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Mahalik.
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, it's that time of the year again where we go through the process to nominate the both Chair and Vice Chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. As you know, that is per City Code. It's a pretty simple process. In a couple minutes, I'll ask for nominations from the Commission for Chair. Keep in mind that you can nominate yourself if you'd like. Once we identify all those that are interested in nominating somebody or themselves for Chair, then we'll decide on how many votes we need to have to bring that to fruition. So at this time, I'm going to ask if anybody would like to nominate someone to be the Chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I'd like to nominate Jan Blair.
Chair Blair, double.
I second.
Are there any other nominations at this point?
You were saying something? No?
Okay. Could I have a roll call vote, Deb, on nomination of Jan Blair for Chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission?
Commissioner Hallen?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Bennick,
Yes.
Commissioner Blair,
Yes.
Commissioner Summers,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoyler,
Yes.
Commissioner Chapman.
Yes.
Congratulations,
passed.
Chair Blair.
Oh,
Madam Chair, at this time, I can go through and do the vice chair, or I can turn it over to you.
Go right ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Madam Chair, we'll follow the exact same process, and this time we'll take nominations for the position of vice chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I nominate Steve Summers.
Second.
Any other nominations for vice chair? Deb, could you please call the roll for Vice Chair Steve Summers?
Commissioner Hallen,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Bennick,
Yes.
Chair Blair,
Yes.
Commissioner Summers,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoyler,
Yes.
Commissioner Chapman.
Yes.
Congratulations, Vice Mayor, or Vice Chair.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to have a consideration and action on the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes, please.
So move.
Second.
Commissioners, please vote.
And we're not getting any
Mine's
lights.
not lighting.
I don't get
Not getting any
anything.
lights.
Let's do a
I don't
thumbs
have
up,
it
thumbs
over here
down.
either.
Oops.
Oh, hold on.
What did I do
Push a
now?
few buttons. How's that?
Oop, you had it. There,
I think
there
that's
you go.
better.
The motion carries with a vote of 7 ayes.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to move forward to action FS12-221. And Mr. Holbert, please.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. I have brought before you in the past restaurants, and this one's a little bit different. This is the Longhorn Steakhouse. This restaurant is located approximately a half-mile north of where we stand right now, and what is now the TGI Fridays restaurant. And I blew this picture up to show you what is there now, the existing conditions. This shows the full access on Bell Road, as well as the streets to the south that take the traffic out to the Surprise Center Parkway, as well as out to Litchfield. And just to show you how that footprint of the new building would be on that structure. The site plan is a 6,300 square foot building. An interesting feature, and this is something that TGI Fridays did, is they actually took the trash enclosures and made it part of the building. So it's not in a parking lot, it is actually part of the building. And like I said before, there's plenty of access through here. Pedestrian access surrounds the building and will not change, or the site, and will not change. But it does surround, the new pedestrian circulation will surround Longhorn. And one note I'd like to make, that this, instead of facing inwards, this is going to face Bell Road. So if you just go to the east where Red Robin is, where they have the parking in the back and the front towards Bell Road, gives a very good look along one of our most important streets in the city. These are the elevations of the building with stucco and stone. There again in the south, you can see how the trash enclosures are enclosed and part of the building. The landscape is going to be freshening up a lot of the landscaping, but also you'll see here they are putting in trees. And there's even a couple of ironwood trees, and as you know, ironwood trees have thorns, and as per our code, we keep them away from pedestrian routes, and these are going to be located away from that, but still give that trademark feel of the Southwest for this restaurant. That concludes my presentation, barring any questions you may have.
I have one question on parking. What did that, because it's a larger and it's changed position, did we actually lose any parking spaces at this time through that?
No, ma'am, we did not. The spaces, if I can go back, the spaces actually just There were new spaces put along the building to the south. And we just lost spaces to the southwest of the building, but in turn also improved the circulation through the parking lot to the front of the building.
Hobart, because it's a larger restaurant, is demand for parking increase, or is this satisfactory with city code?
No, the demand for parking does not increase. This has shared parking with the whole facility, and there is a lot of parking here.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Bennett, any questions?
I have no questions.
Commissioner Smith?
Well, I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I'm glad to see it facing Bell Road. That is an improvement. And I kind of welcome Longhorn Steakhouse. It's a surprise.
Commissioner Hallen?
No questions.
Commissioner Summers?
My one question is, what's the development schedule, the timeline? When do they propose to open it?
I'll start it off, and then I will have the applicant answer. This is using our improved streamline system, so that the actual building plans and the engineering plans were done concurrently. In fact, on Tuesday, when I come back into the office, I will be signing off on the building plans for these, and they should be issued. Now, for how long that's going to take, I'd like to ask the applicant to come up and give you a better timeline.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Perry Holliday. I'm Development Manager for Darden Restaurants. Darden Restaurants is the parent company to Longhorn Steakhouse. You might recognize some of our other restaurants. We own Olive Garden, Red Lobster. We just recently purchased the Yard House, and we also have several specialty restaurants in addition to those. To answer your question, we typically take 6 months from the time we start demo to the time we open our doors. So that's the time frame that we're looking to construct. As soon as we can get our permits, we will be ready to start. So I believe we're very close on getting our permits here. I think it's going to be about a month, maybe.
And how will the demolition be covered on that? In other words, what's the process?
As far as the timing, we're expecting demo to take maybe a week, maybe 2
Okay,
weeks.
but I mean, it's just bulldozer, crunch it down to the ground
Yes.
type of?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Sure. Anything else?
Commissioner Hoyle?
Maybe it's not pertinent to this, but it would be interesting to see future projects, restaurants per se, to have some type of structure outside, because we know as anybody been to a restaurant in Surprise, the waits could be an hour and a half with people outside standing. So it'd be neat to see some type of seating structures or something outside for people that are waiting in line, because they won't leave the restaurant, they'll wait.
Yes, sir. And this one does have that seating feature out front. If you'll notice right in this area, the seating area right up front, because exactly what you said, there is lines on the weekend in a lot of these restaurants in Surprise. They happen to have a lobby inside as well for that, but this is for the overflow.
Perfect.
Because I'm sure they'll be busy.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question. Commissioner Chapman?
Yeah, I just have one question, and I'm not sure how significant it is, but on the project summary, written part, you have it, it's 6318, but on the actual plan itself, you have 6221. Not sure which, usually if it's in a written plan, this is not the actual written plan, is sets the tone or is the dominant feature. So that's one question. The other, that it did increase the parking space by 1, so, but it sounds like there's shared parking and that's taken care of. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
So what about the differentiation of the?
Between the staff report and the
Time, yeah.
part of our process is we're reviewing while we have this going on. And one set of drawings and the staff report was made before the updated drawings were put in. There is a slight change on that, but the actual drawings are the correct numbers.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions.
Yes, I do have a question. Now that I hear that the Yard House is part of your line of restaurants, do you have any plans to bring the Yard House to Surprise?
Because that I would like to see.
I'd like to see that too. Actually, it's kind of early in the process. We haven't even been assigned the projects that are currently in permitting phase with the Yard House because the transition is going to take a little while. So once that transition does occur, obviously our real estate team will start looking at sites because that is the plan now that we've purchased the Yard House to expand it just like we have the other restaurants. So I sure hope so.
I'm sure city staff will help you along. Right, guys?
We appreciate all the help we can get.
Right, thank you.
Sure.
Huh?
You wanted culverts.
I don't know.
Any other questions, commissioners?
No, I have no questions.
Does this require an oath?
No. Yep.
This does not require a public hearing. So may I have a motion, please?
I move to approve FS 12-221, a site plan approval for Longhorn Steakhouse Restaurant, and adopt staff's findings.
Second.
Commissioners, please vote.
The motion carries with a vote of 7 ayes.
Very good. Commissioners, one final thing. Anyone have anything to say? Anything you want to share?
Nope.
It's good to have a full bunch back now. So we will be getting our classes that we're going to take, our workshops scheduled soon. Is that correct?
That's correct. Just a little bit of background, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. City Council spent a fair amount of time, as I mentioned to you before, taking a really close look at all the boards and commissions in the City of Surprise. As you know, some have been consolidated. Planning and Zoning Commission accepted additional duties and so on. They're also going through the process of now going through a more formal orientation process where you'll receive just a refresher on Robert's Rules of Order, Open Meetings Act, roles and responsibilities of council and staff and commission and the public and so on. So I think it'll be a worthwhile exchange of information. So yes, you'll be receiving appointments from the city clerk's office, I believe, within the next couple of weeks. So hope you can attend that.
And when will our next meeting, is there a meeting in November?
It'll be on November 1st.
November 1st? Okay. Seeing nothing else, this meeting's adjourned.